All right. We are back. The No Look Podcast. Your boy Yo Soy, the man, goddamn. Our first episode in the month of December, Tyler. Where is the year gone? It's flew by. I feel like I blinked an eye, and here we are counting down the days until Christmas.
Yeah, also, I feel like this marks our second year together doing this podcast. I think it was in the month of December we started, wasn't it?
I believe, yeah, December 2019. I think. I've asked Dan like 20 times to try to get the episode count so we could do something for our 100th episode. I mean, who knows? This could be it. I mean, oh, who knows? Maybe 100th episode, Tyler, because
Think about it. A few weeks off here and there, 2 years, there's 52 weeks in a year. It's quite possible.
because I feel like there was definitely a time we did multiple episodes in a week. No, or
Sometimes, maybe.
I
Maybe
feel
once
like
or twice.
yeah, a couple times. If I had to guess, we're definitely in the 90s.
Oh,
Like I feel
100%.
I feel like we're definitely closing in on the 100th episode.
We'll have to go back and look at the library.
Well, I
Um,
tried looking on YouTube, but like I don't know, he missed some episodes and he doesn't even have episode number 1, so I can't even go back to like when the original air date was.
Where's episode number one then?
I don't
In a
know. It's
hidden vault somewhere?
yeah, he's saving it for an NFT or something.
Wow, incredible. Well, did you have a good Thanksgiving?
I did. It was good. I went to my roommate's aunt's house, had some good food, kicked some ass in cornhole, and
Mm.
yeah, enjoyed it. How about you?
Yeah, it was good. Had my first fried turkey ever. It was incredible.
Mm.
Juices flowing everywhere. Burned my hand a little bit, putting in the oil nice and slow, but
Mm.
made some bomb ass mashed potatoes. It was great. Great time. Great time watching football. Got a little hammered. Watched the Raiders catch a W. So
Wild
all
game. Wild game.
What most what I'm actually surprised at this. It was the most watched game since 1990 or something like that. Like 38 million people tuned into it
Hmm.
to watch it, and I was like, you think about it, it makes sense though. The Cowboys, the Raiders, they have huge fan bases. I feel like, at Thanksgiving, nobody's got anything better else to do than to sit around the TV while stuffing their face. So it
What?
makes sense.
Yeah, that's just a testament to how much people get sick of their families. Because,
Yeah.
it's like perfect scheduling by the NFL, let me just say. Putting the Bears Lions first game, you know, for me at least, because what time was it? That was like
That was noon,
noon
so it'd been nine
Eastern.
for you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I was like just getting ready, getting out the door. I'd barely watched any of it, but for most people, it's like you're just getting to the house and it's on the TV. You're like, oh, those guys are playing. Let me socialize for a little bit, and then at the point where you're like, okay, I'm done socializing with these family members. I don't really want to talk to them. Let me just sit down and watch football. The Raiders Cowboys were on, and it was actually a good game also.
Yeah. I mean, I'll take the W. It doesn't feel like we actually beat this Cowboys team. You had CD Lamb out, you had Amari Cooper out, you had Dak Prescott playing hurt, Zeke was playing hurt, so it didn't really feel like their offense was all there. So,
Hmm.
granted, they scored 30 points on us. So, I didn't feel great about the win, but I'm just glad we finally got a win. We needed this win more than anything. Now we're sitting in a three-way tie for third, or for first in our division or whatever. We're tied with the Chargers, who they can't seem to get on the right track. We're tied with the Broncos, I think,
Hmm.
who they're, one week they win, the next week they lose when they should have won against a bad team. But I will say the one thing that I don't know what I was thinking that day, Austin. My Tyler's Thanksgiving Day parlay. I didn't have time to post it on TikTok before the first game because I was driving to the destination I was going to. I had the Bears Lions over 41 and a half points. I was like, in my mind, let me
What? Were
tell
you
you.
high when you
I
fucking talk
I
yourself
don't
into
know.
that one?
I picked the Bears lines over 41.5, Raiders spread, which I would have won that, and Bills and Saints over, which I would have lost that. I'm done picking overs because every time I pick overs, it's like I try and think of why this game is going to hit the over. Because in my brain, as a bettor, you're always thinking, we don't bet unders. It's just engraved in our brains.
Well, yeah, life's too short to bet the under.
Exactly. And so I'm thinking Bears Lions, it's Thanksgiving. It's going to be a crazy game. Worst case scenario, the Bears score a ton of points. Well, that didn't happen. And first game, I lost out on, $10. I think it would have paid out like a crazy amount, like $200 or something like that. But
I mean, the only way you would have hit the over in that game is if they played like flag football rules, where you just started from the 30 and traded off opportunities in the red zone, basically, because those two
yeah,
offenses are just so bad. I don't. There's no way in hell that they're gonna hit the over.
it doesn't matter if they're facing the highest scoring offense in the league. If the Lions and Bears are playing, do not bet the over in any of the games that they will be in the rest of the season. I saw 41.5, and I'm like, that's so low. They have to hit that.
Yeah.
But, well, you want to hear the finishes of this, well, past week, week 12.
Mhm.
Um, Austin, you went 7-8, and I went 8-7. So we traded, on some of the games, which I think you picked some games just to do the opposite of me on some of them.
Some
When
of
I
them.
when I sent you the list, I had a feeling you picked the opposite. But that brings our season record, Austin, 178, so 100-78, and Tyler 105-73. So we're both over the
Hmm.
triple digit win mark. Um,
Oh, you're
I
you're starting to pull away a little bit though.
Hey, anything can happen. There's still, we got this week, and then we got, what is it, 5 more weeks after that. So, um,
I almost I almost called a few good ones. I know I got the Dolphins on you, and then
the
I almost
Dolphins was a good one.
and I almost had the Colts. Of course, fucking Brady and the Bucks had to come back
Well,
and
Lenny in the Bucks,
right.
5 touchdowns,
Leonard
unreal game for him.
four net, four
Yeah.
touchdowns on the day.
Well, I thought he had four,
Yeah,
three rushing and one receiving. Got it.
I think
I thought
so.
he had
Yeah.
five first. I'm mistaken. Jonathan Taylor's big game.
Hmm.
Yeah, but I mean, we traded. We both had the Bears to win. We traded. I had the Raiders obviously to win. We both had the Bills covering the 7 spread. You had the Falcons being the Jaguars. I have no idea what I was thinking of picking the
Hmm.
Jaguars. Like you said, you had the Dolphins. We both lost on the Texans Jets game. I think we were both kind of surprised at that, but at
Hmm.
that point, it's a throwaway game with those two. We both lost in a Eagles game that I thought they would have, desperately won. I don't understand the Eagles, by the way, but we'll get into
Yeah.
that. We both had the Bengals. I had the Bucks. You had the Colts. I had the Titans covering the 7.5 spread. You had the Patriots. We both had the Chargers that lost. I had the Rams. You had the Packers. Which I'm glad that you picked the Packers because I also picked the Packers in a parlay. I almost won it. I lost by one game, Austin. I'll tell you
Hmm.
another one, but
Okay.
it was the Rams, Packers, Vikings, Niners, Browns, Ravens games. Those three, the 405 games. I had the Packers winning. I had the Vikings winning, and I had it was the Chargers, right?
Yeah, they played in that late
Yeah,
slate of
because
games. They
Browns and Ravens played on Sunday night. I'm sorry.
right.
So I had the Broncos, I had the Packers, and I had the Vikings.
Broncos.
It was all of the underdogs
Oh,
in the
okay.
in the 405 games.
So the Vikings screwed you.
The Vikings screwed me. Dalvin
Hmm.
Cook got hurt. I was so mad. I was actually probably gonna win like I think a couple $100 on it because of all the teams were underdogs, the ones that I picked, and I bet against the Niners. Even though I picked them in our Week 12 matchups, I picked the Niners, I picked the Ravens, and I picked the Washington football team, all of which won. And that's what kind of screwed you at the end, Austin, was all those teams kind of losing. But
Yeah. I mean, you win some, you lose some. I don't know. I do like how this week was full of disparity, and I feel like you and I split a lot of different games. I don't know if that, obviously, like you said, if I was just a result of me looking at your picks and then being like, okay, this game could go either way. Let me just pick the opposite of what Tyler has.
I just feel like we keep harping on this all season. This You don't know what's going to happen in the NFL this season, and I think that's the hardest thing about picking games. And honestly, Austin, this week NFL Week 13,
Hmm.
the most spread games of our season so far. I'm looking at 5, 6, 7, 8 spread games. So that
Wow.
means more than half or half of them are spread games for us this week. So it's going to be a rough one. Might as well jump into it.
Yeah, let's start off. I mean, obviously, we got a game underway right now. 7-7 Cowboys Saints. I picked the Cowboys in this one.
Covering 6.5?
Well, what are we doing now? I thought it was 7.
No, it's a touchdown. A touchdown is 6.
What?
Austin, you score a touchdown. That's
First it
6
was
points.
10 and then you changed it to 7. Now it's 6.
No, you said
Yeah,
your words.
give me the
Let's
Cowboys
bring
at
up the
6.
replay. It's 6.5.
6.5. I don't care.
You're taking the Cowboys at 6.5.
Yes, it's 7-7 right now. I still feel confident in the boys. Taysom Hill, I'm not sure what his stats are right now.
It's 7-7. He just threw a touchdown,
8 for
probably.
13, 95 and a touchdown. He's not looking bad so far, but it's still early and there's plenty of time for him to mess up. Just need Micah Parsons to get in there. Trayvon Diggs continuing his, although I think the streak ended last week.
Yeah,
Anyways,
it did.
continuing his crazy run, on the defensive side of the ball. The Cowboys, obviously coming off the loss on Thanksgiving, Saints are up and down. You can't trust them. I still think the Cowboys are a better team, more complete roster, and I have a little bit more faith in them, Tyler. If they lose this one, I might be off the Cowboys bandwagon, which then just completely opens up the NFC East because, even though the Eagles are losing, the football team is sitting right there. I think they're 5-6, and then who else is it? Giants. I think they're like 4 games, so
4-7.
they're all still in play somehow. I don't know.
Technically, there's 14 out of the 16 NFC teams still in playoff hunt, which I found blasphemous. I couldn't even believe that. But Austin, everything in my fibers today wanted me and pushed me to go for the Cowboys in this game. That's too many points, or it's. I was thinking 6.5. I think the Cowboys can cover that. I think it's a Cowboys lock. They're up by 3 now. It's 10-7. I was thinking Saints, no Alvin Kamara. They said it today. They lost Davenport off their line. They don't have, obviously Michael Thomas is injured. They both of their tackles, their starting tackles, injured. Taysom Hill, though, starting his first game of the season. Everything is pushing you away from betting on the Saints 6.5. It's just like you have to, and that's exactly what I did. Hard Rock sent me spend $50 on the Thursday night NFL game, get a $10 free play. I bet $50 on the Saints to cover the spread tonight, 6.5 points. I'm not gonna say the words I want to say.
What?
I'm not gonna utter the words I said that I typically say. Too many points in what, but Saints covering the 6.5. That means that the Cowboys could still win by 3, but I'm going with the Saints on this one, covering that spread.
Well, you just put that in the universe.
I know I did, but I had to.
Wait, hold on, wait.
Content
Wait.
purposes.
I missed that last part. What about the 3 though? The spread was 6.5, but what?
The Cowboys can win by 3 as long as the Saints cover the spread. That's all I care about.
Oh, well, they could win by 6, is what you're saying.
They could win by 6.
I was like, what are you saying? Yeah.
Cowboys can win. Go Cowboys if you win by 6 and under. But Go Saints.
No, now he's just pandering to his tattoo that he's got the Saint.
Sorry, my consequential sweatshirt just be jacking up my steez.
It's all right. That's more important. We got Crack It Jack in the chat. Cowgirl's gonna pull it off tonight. I mean, I think so. And Tyler even kind of thinks so. Just as long as they don't win by more than 6.5. That's all he cares about. This degenerate gambling all the time. But I think so. I think the Cowboys pull it off. It's interesting though because this is really I feel like the first time we can say, okay, is Taysom Hill worth the contract that he got? Obviously in the offseason, Saints paid him a lot of money, comes out, doesn't even start. So it's like, okay, he's probably a bust, but we don't know yet. So this could, a big opportunity, and this is a definitely a telling point for Taysom Hill and, his career.
I mean, two things. Obviously, he has that hybrid contract where he gets paid by like being a quarterback and also being a wide receiver and also being a running back. So it's definitely one of the most interesting contracts in history. I do think personally he'll live up to it. I think he's a much better quarterback, obviously, than Simeon. And I obviously think he's a much better quarterback than Winston. Another thing, Austin, the Saints have this guy on their team. His name is Lil Jordan Humphrey.
Mm-hmm.
One of the most electric names. I'm inducting him into the No Look podcast NFL names, best names of all time. He's in there. So he's gonna be in our bracket when we do it. Lil Jordan Humphrey.
Mm-hmm.
I heard it so many times on Thanksgiving. We've already heard it tonight with the touchdown. So
I
go
was
Lil Jordan.
We were watching a Saints preseason game, Connor and I, and we were like, "Little Jordan Humphrey, like it's got to be the best name ever." And
Yeah.
I don't know what happened. I think he on the practice squad for a little bit. Then he just got elevated or something.
Yeah, I mean, so many injuries at wide receiver. He got bumped up.
Mm-hmm.
But next game we got Austin Cardinals 9-2 at Chicago Bears 4-7. Who do you got?
Well, I would definitely.
Obviously, I forgot to mention Cardinals are favored by 7.5.
Okay. Well, that even furthers my decision, Tyler. As much as it pains me to say, obviously, Chicago Bears are the arch nemesis of the Green Bay Packers. However, right now, the Packers are in a tough battle against the Arizona Cardinals. We don't care about the division, Tyler. You guys, the Raiders, most teams are fighting for the division. We're worried about the conference. The Packers, we want the number one overall seed, home field advantage, in the playoffs. In the NFC conference, right now the Cardinals hold that tiebreaker. Packers are on a bye. They can't do anything. They just got to sit at home and watch, cross their fingers, and, hope the Cardinals
Ice that
lose.
toe.
Ice the toe, yep. Hopefully no surgery.
Elevate it.
Aaron, keep it elevated, drink some scotch, and, take your
I thought they
your
said
herbs.
I thought they said that he doesn't need surgery.
They said no, but then I saw something today or something where even if he does need surgery or get surgery, he won't miss any time.
Oh.
So
Was it non-invasive or something?
I don't know. It may be a witch doctor just putting some spices on it.
I think Joe Rogan hired someone from, Area 52 to come in and do some surgeries that they've already. Area 51, sorry, excuse me. I was going to say 42 for some reason. Area 51 to kind of, put him on one of those elevated tables and, take his toe and do like x-ray or non-invasive surgery on it. And then he'll be back on the field being like, the Jesus-looking freak that he is.
They'll probably just amputate it and then inject the wound with like some reptile blood or like plasmas, and then it'll regrow like reptile's tail when it gets cut off.
Or it'll be like Deadpool and he'll have a baby toe.
Exactly. Well, yeah,
grow.
and then it grows. That's what I'm saying. It'll be just like that. Yeah. Anyways, I think the Bears not only will cover this, I think they have a chance to win the game. They're one of those teams where they're up and down. They play close against the Steelers. They play close against the Ravens, the Niners. I mean, hell, they only lost to the Packers by 10 points. They have the defense, and anytime at this point in the year, Tyler, I don't care who you are, especially someone who's used to warm weather in Arizona, you don't want to go to Soldier Field in December and play smash mouth football because that's pretty much the Bears like identity. That's their game. They run the ball, they have a hard defense, and they're gonna try to wear you out. You know, those hits, you and I know, ex football, high school standouts here. When it gets cold, those hits start to hurt. I mean, you got some of the safeties coming down and the linebackers hitting you, helmet on, skin. That is not fun, especially when you're not used to it. So I'm gonna take the Bears. Seven. What was it? 7.5.
Yeah, 7.5. For the Cardinals are favorites. Austin, I'm gonna go ahead and agree with you. I have the Bears in this game, and I mean obviously for the reason that you said, the biggest reason going to Soldier Field, Chicago in December. I mean they call Green Bay the frozen tundra, but I mean Chicago Soldier Field has to be right there with it, with being the windy city. Also, Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins both limited in practice up to this day, not getting a lot of reps in. Probably doesn't mean a lot. They're probably still going to play, but there's going to be a lot of rust, I think,
Yep.
from not playing a lot, not practicing a lot. Hell, some people don't even need practice and they win. But I think Andy Dalton kind of has control of the offense where, he's finding Mooney. They're getting Montgomery the ball. They just got to, get him out in the open a little bit more. They might have Allen Robinson back this week. So I think they're going to cover. I do. I don't think they're going to win, though. I just think it's going to be a super close game, unfortunately, for you as a Packers fan. But I do think that the Cardinals are going to find a way to prevail in this one.
Mac is still out, right? He was on IR.
Yeah, Mac is out for the season.
Hmm.
Yeah, I
That's
mean
tough, but
they still got Robert Quinn out there. Fuller's out there. Roquan Smith. They have a great defense still, or great pieces, I guess you could say.
yeah.
And I did notice that ever since they got, is it Peters? Is it Jason Peters who's on that team now, or who's the tackle on the Bears? Fuck, I forget who
I
I'm
don't
thinking
know.
of. He played for the Eagles at one point.
Is it Jason Peters? Yeah.
So yeah, Jason
Very
Peters.
large human.
Very large. Ever since he's came back, I've noticed that quarterbacks have at least one more second to throw the ball. For the Bears, I find myself watching more Bears games than I want to at some points. But next game we got spread game, another one. Austin
Mm.
-10. Colts at Texans. I'll go first.
Mm.
This is an easy one for me. I'm going all the way on the Colts on this one in the spread game. Last time I went against the spread game in the Colts, I lost, and I was mad. It was against the Jets on Thursday Night Football. The Jets somehow, didn't score. The Colts, garbage time touchdowns. I don't think this is even going to be a close game. Colts are coming out pissed, losing to the Bucks, even though they shouldn't. Carson Wentz, playing poor in the second half. They're going to feed Jonathan Taylor the ball. Why they didn't against the Bucks is beyond me, and they're going to reestablish that run game offense, and the Texans aren't going to know how to stop that.
Hmm. I have a weird feeling in my gut.
Don't do it.
No, I'm not gonna. But Texans coming off of a loss to the Jets, and obviously the Colts losing but playing well against the Bucks. Like that, just that formula kind of almost makes me feel like there's gonna be some kind of upset. But I think the Colts are a better team. They're still playing great football right now. Even though they play inside, it's in Houston, it doesn't matter, but they play inside of like a dome stadium. They seem like a smash mouth cold weather football team. I don't know if they need to open up the roof in there, Tyler, kind of intimidate their opponents. But anyways, they're sitting there at 500. They still have a very good shot at the playoffs, and not only that, Tyler, with everything that's happening in Tennessee, I think they have a good chance at winning the division. Um,
Oh, 100%.
Let me look at their schedule.
I mean, they're only 2 games back.
Did they already play the Titans twice? Oh, that's unfortunate. Yeah, they already played the Titans twice and lost to them. But anyways, they got Texans, Pats would be a tough one. Cardinals, Raiders, Jags. Oof. Now that I'm looking at that, I may have to retract that statement. That's looking a little uphill, that battle. But anyways, I think they get the job done by 10 plus in this one. I mean,
Yeah,
you could hand the ball off to Jonathan Taylor 100 times, and just, hey guys, tell the defense we're running the football, I think they would still win by 2 touchdowns at least.
Yeah, and I mean I think the Colts defense is really good too, where it's gonna be almost I don't want to say an annihilation, but I think it's gonna be a pretty handily fought victory for the Cardinals. I mean Carson Wentz, I'm looking at his stats right now. I'm
Colts.
actually kind of what did I say?
Cardinals.
Cardinals, Colts, the goddamn C's.
Yeah.
Carson Wentz, 21 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. That means that he threw, almost half of them in that Bucks game. So obviously they're playing really well. It's just get the ball to Jonathan Taylor. It's kind of like feed Derrick Henry. The fact that you get
Yeah.
away from that, that's probably why you lose. Next game we got Austin. This game had me befuddled. Um, is that how you say that? Befuddled?
I don't know if that's a word. Befuddled. Beful.
D.
Yeah, befuddled. Yeah, you got it. Unable to think clearly, confused, or perplexed.
Yep, perplexed, definitely. Chargers
Befuddled.
at Bengals, Austin.
Befuddled.
Probably the two teams that every time I pick them, they lose.
Wait, what is this? I was having the Google voice say befuddled in my ears.
How'd it sound?
It sounded pretty close to what you said.
What did they say?
Befuddled. Befuddled. You can watch the VOD back to it.
So they got to hear that.
Yeah.
That's great. Chargers at Bengals. Like I was saying, I feel like every time I pick these two teams, they lose.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I'm going to lose this one regardless.
Go for the tie.
I'm not going to do that. Although I do think it will be a close game. Obviously, the Bengals coming off of a huge win against the Steelers, who they're the Steelers this year, and the Chargers losing to the Broncos. Granted, in Denver, but still a bad loss by them because they should have won. They were high favorites in that game. I'm going to go with the Bengals on this side. I do like the Chargers. I don't think their offense I don't think the Chargers defense is consistent, and I don't think that they're going to be able to stop the Bengals offense like the Bengals defense is going to be able to stop the Chargers offense. So in this point, I'm going to ride with the defenses. I think the Bengals are a little bit stronger in that regard. I do obviously love Joe Mixon. He's playing out of his mind right now. I think he's going to have a huge impact on the game, and obviously probably Jamar Chase at some point. But I'm going to have to ride with the Bengals on this one. Like I said right now, they're going to lose, but I'm going to go with them. Do the opposite of what I say.
Yeah, this is a tough one. I feel like no matter who I pick, I'm going to lose. I guess I'll just fade you, Tyler. The only thing I'll say, I believe this game will be a shootout. I think this will be a good game. I hope that these are two teams that we're seeing, in the playoffs and maybe even the Super Bowl. Just kidding, because they're both AFC.
AFC.
Right? Yeah. In the AFC
Maybe
Championship
at some point,
game. I hope this was like, Brady and Mahomes when Brady was on the Patriots, because we got, Justin Herbert, we got Joe Burrow. These are definitely two, quarterbacks that are going to be the face of the league in years to come. However, in this shootout, I think it's going to come down to who has the slight advantage at the quarterback position. And right now I'm riding with my guy, Justin Herbert from the Los Angeles Chargers. I think everywhere else, Tyler, they match up, right? They got prolific offenses, great wide receivers, solid defenses. Both quarterbacks are good. The running backs are doing great right now. You got Mixon, you got Eckler. I think it's just really honestly going to come down to who's the better quarterback. I think right now in their respective careers, I'm giving Justin Herbert the slight advantage in that one.
I wouldn't even say slight. I think he's a clear top MVP favorite.
Right.
He's top 5 easily. I mean, if I'm starting a franchise right now, Justin Herbert has to be, up there, top 3 at least. And honestly, I would probably pick him over, and this might be controversial, I would pick him over Patrick Mahomes easily. I just like the way he plays a lot better. He doesn't take risks in terms of like throwing interceptions or inherent throws. But another reason I'm getting off topic of what I was
Mm.
trying to say, another reason why I'm picking the Bengals, obviously Raiders tied with the Chargers at 6-5. I need the Chargers to lose. So Bengals, although you guys are ahead of us at 7-4, we got to win the division. So go Bengals.
Well, see, that's where you
Who
messed
they?
up. You should have picked the Chargers because then if the oh wait.
No, you're right.
Yeah,
I
if
know
you
what
should
you're
have picked
saying.
the Chargers because then if the Chargers win, you get it right, but then if the Bengals win, you're happy. So it's a win-win for you.
Yeah,
Now
it's
all your money's in the pot for the Bengals to win, and you're going to be happy that you picked them and happy that the Chargers lose.
Well, yeah, but then I'm going to be down on the season record. So there's a lot of pros and cons to everything you do in life, Austin. So we'll just stick with the Bengals on this one. Next game, we got another spread game. Vikings favored 6.5 at Lions. Who do you got?
Yeah, I mean this is a no-brainer. 6.5.
I knew you were going to
I
say
don't
that.
care. I don't care who it is. Anyone, 6.5 against the Lions, like shit. That's like a field goal pretty much. And I've been high on the Vikings. Obviously, they beat the Packers. They lost a close one last week. Kirk Cousins, and it's never thought I'd be saying this. Kirk Cousins is playing pretty good football. I don't know what his exact numbers are, but I know he's got single digit interceptions. I want to say below 5.
3,000, 3,013 yards,
Mm-hmm.
23 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions.
Yeah, I mean for Kirk Cousins, all they got to do is keep him out of prime time, and this guy is he's golden. They're
Out
miss
of prime time and out of the playoffs.
Exactly. They're gonna miss Dalvin Cook for sure, but they still have a great receiving core. Justin Jefferson, he's been balling. Thielen caught a touchdown last week. I think Madison's good enough to come
Oh
in
yeah.
and get the job done for what they need him for. And the Lions are just completely despicable right now. I they may need to absolve that team and just start a brand new franchise. Do what they did with the Las Vegas Golden Knights a few years ago. Start a new franchise and
Draft.
shit. I know. I'm trying to think of a
Each team, each
location like
each team just give. I mean, shit. Let's send them to El Paso, Texas. It's probably
wait.
better than
Give it.
Detroit.
St. Louis deserves a team. They got robbed of the Rams. Let's get a new team in there. They can get the St. Louis uh Arches and
The
but they
Saint.
instead like the arch, and then it'd be like an archer, like a bow and arrow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or the St. Louis Rams, and then change the Los Angeles Rams to something else.
Okay.
Bring back the
Um,
Rams. No, I'm just messing.
how
Or you could do
about
the St. Louis Lions. That sounds pretty fire too.
that actually does, but I feel
St.
like
Louis Lions. It's a like
I
a what's that
an
word?
alliteration.
An alliteration. The St. Louis Lions. I love it. I'm here for
I
it.
think you just need to bury that whole franchise and forget it ever happened. Just start
Yeah.
fresh. Maybe the the Bobcats,
The St. Louis Bobcats.
or like Leopards, St. Louis Leopards. We got it.
St. Louis Leopards. I mean, we'll we'll
Too
we'll
endangered. Okay.
yeah, we'll get into that. The gorillas. I mean,
Hmm.
that'd be cool.
I would
Guy come
love.
out in a
I
gorilla's
was gonna
costume.
say I would love that mascot. There's a
Yeah.
lot you could do with a gorilla mascot.
Name's Harambe. Shout out R.I.P. Harambe. I mean, gotta pay respects. But back to the game. We're getting off topic. Reeling them back in. Austin, I agree. 6.5 points could be 65.5 points. I'm still picking the Vikings on this one. Although I'm still salty that they messed up my 405 parlay last week. Vikings,
Hmm.
Kirk Cousins, they're playing amazing. Lions, they might not even have DeAndre Swift this game. Their best player by far this whole entire season. Um, Although Kirk Cousins doesn't know where the center is, he's lining up behind the guards sometimes. I still got to rock with the
Hmm.
Vikings on this one. Going to Detroit, battling their way back up into the NFC playoff chase. So, yeah, I'm going to have to ride with the Vikings. And I'm just not going to pick the Lions ever again in the season. I'm done.
Well,
I've done it too many times.
with that being said, Tyler, Vikings this week, then Broncos, Cardinals, Falcons, Seahawks, Packers. I mean,
Who, the Lions?
yeah, I mean,
Mm.
unless the Packers, you know, clinch the number one overall seed and sit their
I don't think they
guys,
will.
I don't think they'll clinch it. No, I think if
No.
they do
They'll
end
need
up
that
winning it,
game.
they'll probably need it.
Yeah.
It's the Seahawks. Surprisingly, are looking like the best chance for them to get a win, and I'm not
Seahawks,
convinced
maybe
that
Falcons.
happens.
Yeah.
The Falcons are actually decent.
Yeah.
They got I think back-to-back wins maybe. Seahawks are like 3-8. Russ is not
Not
playing
cooking.
well. He's not throwing to DK, so DK
Ru-
come to the Packers, please.
Yeah, I mean, I've already gotten into DK way too many times on this podcast. He is on my shit list, but I can get into that at a later time. I got to really back in. I do agree, though. Lions, they're probably going to lose every single game this season. And Dan Campbell, I'm sorry, but you knew what you signed up for.
Hmm.
And your quarterback's Jared Goff. You're not going to win games. So good luck next year if you have a job next year. Next game we got, Austin, one of the games I do not care about this week. Giants at Dolphins. Everything in my fiber wanted to pick the Dolphins in this game, but I think this is the game that finally Saquon Barkley goes off.
Don't hold your
Rushing.
breath.
I'm not gonna. Former Penn State great Saquon Barkley finally gonna go off for the first time this season. I'm predicting it now, which means that it may not happen, but I'm going to predict it. Saquon Barkley goes off. They beat the Dolphins. Dolphins aren't that great this season. Although Myles Gaskin's, getting back into the offense, they're not finding Gesicki that much, as me and Austin do know. But I think it's going to be a close game. I'm going to go with the Giants on this one, though, riding down to Miami. Even though the last time they rode down to Miami, they ended up not winning games for like 16 weeks after that classic yacht pick.
Ooh, who could forget about the yacht pick? No OBJ involved though now. The Dolphins are. Let me pull this up. Dolphins are on a 4-game win streak, Tyler.
Yep.
They beat the Panthers and Cam Newton. I think you got to throw that in there because
Chris McCaffrey got injured.
Right, but still, Cam Newton I think is a different Panthers team than PJ Walker, Sam Darnold. They did beat the Jets. They also beat the Dolphins and then the Texans. They're on a hot streak right now. I don't know what to make of the Giants. Obviously, I think Daniel Jones has played pretty well. The receiving core has been banged up. Saquon's been in and out. I don't know. Tua's been playing very well, Tyler. And as much as he's been criticized, he's just been out there. He's put his head down. He's just gotten to work, and he's gotten better. I don't know. They have a good defense. I think Devontae Parker might be back this week. I like
You're saying no.
I hate to say it, but I kind of like the Dolphins. I don't know about the playoffs or anything. The AFC West is definitely competitive. Now you got the Patriots and playing well. You got the Bills, the AFC North. It's gonna be tough, but I like the Dolphins in this one.
It is possible that Sterling Shepard may suit up this game to help kind of bolster that.
Oh, well, that changes everything.
I mean, it has to. I like how you're picking the Dolphins. I guess we'll see. That game for me is kind of a toss up. It's just like the Chargers Bengals. I feel like no matter who I pick, they're gonna lose. But I just have this weird feeling Saquon's gonna finally go off. I'm hoping. Primarily because I'm facing Dan in fantasy football and I have Saquon, so it's bound to happen. Next game we got spread game, another spread game. Eagles -7 at Jets. Austin, who do you got? Obviously, Eagles coming off of that bad loss.
Yeah, every time I pick the Eagles, they lose, but then I feel like the Jets are just, I don't know, it's hard to put any faith in them as well. Which makes no sense because their other wins are like against the Titans and
With Derrick Henry.
Right. And then who else? They beat the Bengals. So it's like Jets only beat good teams, but then they lose, or they beat the Texans, but the Texans aren't good. So this makes no sense. I gotta stick with my gut. I'm gonna go with the Eagles. The run game and the offensive line have looked pretty good for the Eagles in past weeks. I don't know who's running the ball. It's Sanders.
Jalen
It's
Hurts,
right. Well, it hurts, but they got Sanders. They got Gainwell, right?
Boston Scott,
Boston Scott. They got all those guys. They're rotating in and out.
Jordan Howard.
Jordan Howard, right? Forgot about him. Um, Goddard has looked very good. He's definitely thriving now with Ertz gone. If only they could clone Devontae Smith and play him at every wide receiver position, because Rager, the guy, is just furthering everyone's like upsetness with them for picking him over Justin Jefferson. Literally the pick before Justin Jefferson. I mean, that's one of those all-time bad draft picks. Not only did they trade up, but they traded up and picked the wrong guy. Um, he showed flashes of like, okay, this guy maybe isn't that bad. He's no Justin Jefferson, but he's not a bust. He is a bust. I don't know. He had multiple drops last week. He just is shooting himself in the foot. That is their only downfall. Like they're hurting themselves, Tyler. They're beating themselves almost in these games. And if they can just go out there, run the ball, um, play defense and keep the time of possession, I think they can win this game.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Jalen Hurts is playing injured. He'll probably play. He'll probably suit up. I mean, the guy is he's putting it all on his back for the Eagles, and I think that's why we're getting a lot of bad turnovers from him. Games where he does have multiple interceptions. I mean, he's got 2,400 yards, 13 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, but also has 695 rushing yards and 8 rushing touchdowns. So he almost has as many rushing touchdowns as he does passing. So the guy is just doing it all in classic Eagles fashion, just like Mike Vick did back in the day. But I'm gonna agree with you. I don't trust the Jets. Every time I pick them against the spread, it doesn't bode well for me. It doesn't matter if they're playing in New York or Philly, and both similar, weather predicaments that they both go through. So I'm gonna have to ride with the Eagles on this one, covering the spread. Um, Next game we got another spread game, big spread game, double-digit spread game,
Oh,
11 and a half points.
mm.
Bucks and Austin. This isn't the largest spread game this week. It's 11 and a half points. Bucks at Falcons. I'll go first because I put you on the spot last time. Again, I feel like I'm going against what I would normally pick, this week. 11 and a half. It's the Bucks. Falcons, are trash. They're 20% predicted to win. Obviously,
Mm-hmm.
Calvin Ridley's not probably playing for the Falcons. He's kind of on the fence on when he's coming back. Bucks secondary completely smashed to smithereens. Antonio Brown today suspended 3 games. A lot of injuries on the Bucks, but they're playing super well. Just beat a hot Colts team. You know, Falcons coming off of a big win against, I guess you could say, big win. Did they beat the Jaguars?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, big win against the Jaguars. They're saying 5-6, still in the playoff hunt. I'm gonna say the Falcons are gonna cover this spread, Austin. Normally I would pick the Bucks 11 and a half. I would say that's more than enough, but for some reason Brady said, I don't know if I'm reading into this too much, in his Instagram after that W last week, he emphasized big game. He said big game in Atlanta this week. I don't know. I don't know what he knows, and I'm kind of confused. What are the Falcons hiding from us? How is it big? They're not that great. Although it is an intra-conference, game. I'm gonna ride with the Falcons on this one. I just looking into that Brady message, 11 and a half. That's a lot of points. It's in Atlanta. A lot of teams don't play well for some reason in Atlanta.
Mm.
So I think it's gonna be a close game. I think it's gonna be a shootout, but I still think the Bucks win. But I think the Falcons cover.
Yeah, Tom Brady, he's got his own version of cryptic messages. He just has like a cryptic, ominous like caption, whereas Cam Newton just types in like hieroglyphic font and you can't tell what it is. I think it's gonna be a shootout, but I think excuse me, I'm looking at the past games. I think the Bucks still win by at least 11. Falcons 5-6, not bad, but when they play
11
good
and a
teams,
half, though.
Patriots 25-0, Cowboys 43-3, they just fold up and they crumble. They don't have the how do I want to put this? They're not in the same echelon, right? They can put points on the board and like air it out, but when you play against good teams, they're just not up to the challenge. We've seen that in those other games I aforementioned. I believe Tom Brady, Buccaneers, they kind of had a punch in the mouth game against the football team where they lost. They come out last week, they win against a good Colts team, and I think they get back on the rails. They get back on the right path and kind of further themselves to another NFC Championship game,
No, I
where
agree.
hopefully they lose to the Packers.
I just Pitts obviously hasn't been playing that well because he's been blanketed. I think this is a game that you might see him, find the end zone for the second time this season. Because the Bucs secondary is god awful, but I guess we'll see. Largest spread game of the week, Austin. You ready?
I'm ready.
Jaguars at Rams minus 13 points, 2 touchdowns, 2 tutters. They're projected to beat the Jaguars. Who do you got
Oh
in Los
man,
Angeles?
yeah, I was looking at that. A part of me wants to say Jags. They beat the Bills. Rams coming off a loss against the Packers, but at home, I just don't see. They just have too much firepower, Tyler. I feel like the play style of the Bills kind of catered to the Jags in that game they lost. They're a time of possession, run the ball, big play type of team. Well, the Jags didn't allow any big plays on defense, so they had to run the ball. They did a good job. They weren't getting enough points. They weren't scoring in the red zone. They were kicking field goals, and in the end, they scored 2 field goals instead of 3. That's how they lost. The Rams, I think they got to get back to their bread and butter. They haven't been running a lot of play action plays. They've been running the ball okay, but I think they're just kind of like too caught up with, oh, we have Matt Stafford now, who's a good quarterback. We have the mastermind in McVay. Let's try to do all this crazy stuff, but you made it to a Super Bowl on your old playbook with Jared Goff. So you upgrade with Stafford. Why don't you just stick to the script with, an upgrade at that quarterback position? I think they may be trying to do too much. We'll see if they figure it out, but I still like the Rams in this one by
Yeah, no,
13,
I'm
whatever.
gonna yeah, I'm gonna agree with you on that. I have the Rams. I saw a meme. It said teams that participated in no loss or no win November.
Hmm.
The Rams were a part of that discussion. I don't think that this is going to be a game that they lose. I think this is a game that they really need to come out and play hard and kind of show their firepower, kind of like a tune-up game for the remainder of the season. Obviously, they lost to, like you said, a great Packers team in Lambeau. Um, Aaron Rodgers back against the wall, needs to win, hurt toe, everything. The
Mm-hmm.
Rams, they just didn't perform well. I mean, obviously Odell had that nice touchdown. I think you're going to see, more innovation within that offense. These guys have finally, I'm saying primarily Odell Beckham, Von Miller, all the guys that have finally come to the
Oh,
Rams, are, bless you,
thank-
are finally gelling together, playing together. I think you're gonna start seeing that, and it's gonna come to fruition. And yeah, that's why I'm gonna go with the Rams on this one, covering the spread in LA. Next game we got Washington at Las Vegas Raiders. Austin.
Raiders. What's up? You want me to
I
go
got the
first?
Raiders on this one.
Okay.
I got the
You sure?
Raiders. I mean,
You You sure about
I'm
that?
100%. I'm 100% on this. Just like the Chargers, I have losing. I have the Raiders winning, boosting themselves further up into the AFC West, probably one of the toughest divisions in the NFL. I said one of, not the.
Hmm.
Um, in football, coming off of a huge win against the Cowboys, this Washington football team coming off of a semi big win against the Seahawks, I guess you could say. I just think the Raiders are slightly better offensively. Obviously Renfro's playing out of his mind. Waller's probably not going to be playing, but Josh Jacobs may be out. A lot of injuries, but I think the Raiders are going to find a way to win because I don't know, Austin. Next week we got the Chiefs,
Hmm.
so we have to win this game.
You
This is
need
a
one.
must-win
Yeah.
game for the Raiders. If they don't win, and that's what Bisaccia is telling them. You guys need to win this week because we're going up against a Chiefs team who's super hot.
Is that like a thing? Should I know that? Super hot? Or did you just say that like that for no reason?
The latter.
Okay. Well, speaking of super hot, we got the Washington football team coming in on a 3-game win streak, which started against who? Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tyler, they're not a flashy football team. They don't wow you. They don't look sexy on paper, but they get the job done. They are the definition of grit. I mean, oh, I'm having a brain fart right now. Anyways, no McKissick this week. Antonio Gibson is going to be a straight workhorse. I think the defense is going to be enough to disrupt the Raiders. You said Waller isn't playing?
Waller is doubtful. More than likely, he's not playing though.
Hmm. Well, that is just a bummer for them. Heineke. Sorry, I'm trying to look at stats at the same time. Whole thing. Anyways, Heineke. He's been playing decent. I don't know. He's like a weird. I don't want to quite call him like a game manager type of guy, but he gets the job done. I think of him more of like a Joe Flacco. If with enough pieces around him, I don't know if this is the team, but I think he can, take this team into the playoffs. And on top of that, I'm unable to pick the Raiders anymore, so that was a clear one for me.
You knew from the beginning you were just
Yeah,
talking
I
around
had
it
to I
at
had to
that
get
point.
some kind of knowledge in there, and I couldn't. Fuck, I was having a brain fart. I couldn't think of Taylor Heineke.
I mean, going to Vegas, I think this is a big game for the Raiders. When I saw this game on paper, Austin, I saw, oh, we're facing Washington. That's going to be an easy win. Obviously now it's week 13. They're 5-6. We're 6-5. They don't have Chase Young. Obviously, that's big for their defense. But I mean, we also don't have a lot of pieces. So I think it's going to be a tight game. I'm just hoping that we pull it off because I don't think I can take losing to the Washington football team and then facing the Chiefs next week. Next game we
Well,
got
do you still have
Ravens.
like legitimate playoff aspirations and hopes?
Oh yeah, yeah. I think me personally.
Yeah.
Or I mean, yeah, I do. If we're technically in eighth place, for the playoffs, so we're one spot out. Might as well keep rooting for them to get into the playoffs if it's an obvious like possibility.
Yeah.
So go Raiders. Next game we got Ravens at Steelers. Austin, this is an easy one for me. I looked at this game and I said, you know what? Ravens. I don't even care. I'm not even gonna speak anything into existence. I'm not gonna give you reasons why. I think it's more of why would you pick the Steelers at this point? Ben Roethlisberger, you know, Gumby arm, I guess you could say. Their offensive line is non-existent. Their
Mm-hmm.
their defense is in shambles with injuries. They couldn't even put up points last week against the Bengals to make it a shootout. They got absolutely mantled, and I think it's going to continue. With this week, the Ravens. The Ravens coming off of a shitty performance and on Thursday night against the Browns. Lamar Jackson with 4 interceptions, but I think it's going to be all Ravens in this game because the Steelers are just trash.
Yeah, I mean, Steelers are really bad. Ravens ugly win last week against the Brown, but nonetheless, they got the job done.
Can I Can I say something really fast?
Yeah.
I've been meaning to tell you, Austin. You have never been more right since I've known you, which is a long time. It's about
Yeah.
what? How long have we known each other? 10 years at least? No,
Fifth
12
grade? I
to
don't know.
15. 15 years. Um,
2005 or
Austin
6.
said
Yeah.
15 years. Yeah. Austin said the AFC North. What did you say about the AFC North?
Fraudulent division.
The most fraudulent
They all
division in
suck.
football. They all suck.
Someone's
But guess
got to
who's
look
on
good.
top? You're right about that. You're absolutely right about it. But guess who's on top in the AFC East or in the AFC? Sorry,
The AFC North,
the
or just in
Ravens.
general, you're saying? Yeah.
No, in general, the Ravens are in first. Austin,
Yeah.
the AFC North team, who is trash, who beat a Browns team by 6, couldn't even get out of there, by the skin of their teeth, and they're in first in the AFC. So I agree. I mean, and I'm giving you kudos. AFC North is trash. Any team that I see from the AFC North, I don't like,
Yeah.
and that's that.
Yeah, no, I mean they're all just big frauds right now, competing for a participation trophy. Um, yeah, Big Ben, obviously it's kind of tough to see. He's out there. He doesn't want to admit. He's like the fifth year senior. I don't want to graduate. He's saying I don't want to retire, but he hasn't been the same. He's making those down the sideline throws to Claypool, and it's like, oh, okay, maybe he's still got a little bit in the tank, but everything else, like across the middle, play action, you know, the RPOs that they're running, just hand the ball off to Najee, please. Not only because I need him to have a big game this week, but because he's the only bright spot in that offense. And I won't say the team because TJ Watt is a complete beast. However, the Ravens are still the Ravens. Lamar is still Lamar. It's going to be a good bounce back game for him. You know, the defense is solid. Queen is just one of the best linebackers in the league, if not the best. Hollywood Brown, he's deserved his nickname of Hollywood, I think, at this point, Tyler. He was off for a couple of weeks, or maybe even that's just that 1 week with a bunch of drops. It's going to be a good game, I feel like. Just that, smash mouth AFC North football, old rivalry with the Ravens and Steelers. But I think the Ravens come out on top.
I'm looking at the real quick. I'm looking at the Ravens' last 5 and Pittsburgh's last 5. Baltimore's last 5, a loss to the Bengals 41-17, win against the Vikings 34-31 in OT, loss to Miami 22-10, win against Chicago 16-13, and obviously won 16-10 against the Browns. Steelers oddly almost identical in
Hmm.
terms of like score and also how much they beat them by. Beat the Browns by 15-10. Baltimore was 16-10. Beat the Bears 29-27. Baltimore beat them by 3. And then the last 3 are just pathetic.
Hmm.
Tied the Lions 16-16, lost to the Chargers 41-37, and then lost to the Bengals 41-10. I was just seeing those similarities, and I'm just like, kind of crazy. Bengals are just putting 41 spots on these teams, but
Well,
I think
Tyler,
it's going to be another loss, and is what I was saying for the Steelers.
the Ravens have the best player in the NFL this year in Justin Tucker. All they got to do is get it past the 50-yard line, and they should just hit field goal formation. And that's like, screw the red zone. Just get this guy within 50, 60 yards, and he's automatic. Those free points right there. Then you can just give the ball back. And if you stop the Steelers, 60% of the time from scoring any points, you win the football game. There you go. I just gave you the game plan, Baltimore Ravens.
Next game we got Austin. Not a great game. Niners at Seahawks. I hate this game. And looking further into it, I hate it even more. Debo Samuel doubtful for this game. The Seahawks are just the Seahawks at this point. Do you think Debo being out is going to make a big difference to the Niners?
It will make a difference. It won't make a difference in the outcome of the game. I mean, the Niners, I said it a few weeks ago, Tyler. I was probably ahead of my time, saying that they were a team to watch out for. Winners of 3 in a row. Seahawks, on the other hand, I'm not sure what it is exactly. One, two, three, losers of three in a row. Obviously 3-8 on the season. Not sure what's going on there. Be interesting to see what happens in the offseason with Russell, Pete Carroll, everything. The GM over there in Seattle. But that's a long ways away. We're still talking about this season. We're talking about week 13, and we're talking about Niners versus Seahawks. Listen, Tyler, this is who the Niners were supposed to be. This is the Niners football team that made it to the Super Bowl, that completely curb stomped the Packers in the NFC Championship game that year. Jimmy G, he's like, hey, maybe I don't have to be the best quarterback in the league. Maybe I just have to run a few plays, dump it off a few times to George Kittle, hand the ball off to Debo. He's like, wait, Debo, what are you doing in the backfield? I thought you were a wide receiver. Debo's like, shut up, Jimmy. Just take the ball and hand it off to me. He's like, okay, that's fine. Win the football game. Defense looks strong. And the Seahawks are, like you said, they're just booty cheeks right now.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm concerned about Debo being out. Didn't think about that a little bit, but like you said, Jimmy G playing for his job right now. He's playing for his next job, I should say. 13 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. He's playing, kind of well, I guess you could say.
What do you say,
But
13 and
obviously
6?
Russell 13-6, yes.
I mean, for Jimmy G standards, I guess, and this guy,
I mean that's 70.
come,
He's shooting 75%.
and this guy was at one point the highest paid player in NFL history. I'll never
Crazy.
understand that with the caps and I don't know the curve, but I
I mean,
digress.
Niners have won 4 out of the 5. Seahawks have lost 4 out of the 5. I love the Niners. I said that they're the hottest team in football. I'm just very concerned about Debo being out. That's mainly half of their offense. I'm still going to pick the Niners in this. I don't feel good about it. For some reason, I'm getting this odd feeling that the Seahawks could win, but that could just be gas. So,
Hmm.
next game we got Broncos at Chiefs, Sunday Night Football. Another spread game, the last one of the week. Chiefs are favored by 9 points. Um, Austin, I picked this game based on who technically the Raiders need to win. Honestly, they could use either of them to lose, but I thought in my head, my smooth brain, if the Chiefs win and the Broncos lose, the Broncos are 6-5. The Chiefs are obviously going to continue to win at some point, so they're going to make the playoffs. Just might as well cut the fat off and have the Broncos lose.
Right.
And I think that the Chiefs are going to handily beat them by more than 9 points. So I'm going to ride with the Chiefs on this one. They're obviously playing hot now, getting CEH back off of injury. The Broncos, Teddy Bridgewater went down. Their offense is kind of non-existent. Their defense is, hit or miss. But I think the Chiefs are going to win this game. It's in Kansas City. 9 points is usually a lot, especially in prime time. But I'm going to ride with the Chiefs on this one because the Raiders need it.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the best time that like the Chiefs perform is at that Sunday night game in Arrowhead. I can picture Collinsworth and Michaels right now just all up on, Mahomes and how well they've been playing. I think they're like 3 or 4 game win streak. Tyler, I will say, I'm pretty sure the Chiefs are undefeated since Jackson Mahomes stopped going to their games.
They are on a
Coincidence?
4-game win streak.
Coincidence? I don't know. Less distractions? I don't know. Right? I don't know. But
I mean,
anyways, I do know that Chiefs are a good
we
football
said
team.
we said that.
I do know the Chiefs are a good football team. Like you said, CH came back and completely ruined Darrell Williams from fantasy competency. So I had to freaking drop him and try to find another secondary running back. But no, I mean Kelsey still, the best tight end in the league. He's leading in pretty much all categories. You still got Tyreek Hill. Still got a decent offensive line. You got Matthew, all those guys on defensive side of the ball. Stick to the script. Stick to the script, Chiefs. It's like you, you won the Super Bowl, and then I don't know what happened. You got bored. You started changing stuff up, and you wanted to switch it up, see what you can mess around with. Stick to the game plan. Let Mahomes take you to the promised land, and I think they're going to be fine in this one.
Yeah, they've won the last four. They're on a four-game winning streak. Obviously, this is going to be a big conference game, but Kelsey isn't leading everything. Tyreek Hill leads on his team with most yards.
I'm saying tight
Um,
end.
okay.
Why would it? Oh
Last
my
game
God,
we
this guy.
got.
This guy to fucking try to
But
put me in the dirt somehow.
it's not you, it's Kelsey. Last game we got game of the week. Honestly, I'm hyped for this one personally. I wish I could go. Patriots at Bills.
Hmm.
Monday Night Football. Gonna be a good one. 8-4 Patriots tied for first or almost in first versus a Buffalo Bills team who needs this W more than anything. Austin, who do you got? Also, might I add, Patriots on a
Hmm.
five-game winning streak.
Yeah, I mean, deja vu, Tyler. Here we are again saying the New England Patriots are the best team, in the AFC East and arguably in the AFC and the NFL. It is weird, no Tom Brady, but what did I say, Tyler, earlier in the year? I was like, Mac Jones doesn't look that bad because Belichick isn't putting him in those situations that would allow him to fail. Well, now they've had the reps, they've had the practice. They said, okay, this is what was good, and we need to replicate this. Mac Jones, I'm not sure the exact numbers. Tyler, maybe you could help me out while I rant for a little bit. He's been playing phenomenal. The run game, they got Harris, they got Stevenson, they got their tight ends. Tyler, we're seeing finally why they paid Henry and Smith all that money in the offseason. And it's because they can run these two tight end sets. They can run play action well. They can come at you from so many different angles. We got Jacoby Myers stepping up. Your Eskimo bro, Nelson Aguilar. He scored multiple times throughout the year. Um, I'm not sure what's going on with N'Keal Harry. I haven't heard his name once throughout the season. Um, I don't even know why I brought him up. It's just a guy on the team that I know
I
his
think he
name.
wants to be traded.
Yeah, well, he's probably going to the CFL
He
or
said he
something
wanted to
because
be
this guy's a
traded, and then
bum.
they just don't play him. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I wouldn't
Yeah.
call him a bum, but
Anyways, any team, defensively that is run by the mastermind of Bill Belichick, I don't even know who exactly they have on that side of the ball, Tyler, anymore. But if Bill Belichick is telling them what to do, they're pretty much like cyborgs, and I think they're gonna go out there and get the job done. I think they still have like
did Kyle
McCourty. They have Van Noy. I don't
didn't
even
Kyle
know.
Van Noy go back? Yeah, I thought he went back to the Patriots after
I don't
playing
know.
for the Dolphins for a
Let's
year.
see.
Real quick, Mac Jones, because you asked me to tell you,
Jalen Mills.
2,850 yards, 16 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. Obviously,
Not
great
bad.
stats for a rookie.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, as much as it pains me to say, Tyler, it's like you got to go with the hot hand. I think the Bills are still capable of beating the Patriots, right? You got Josh Allen. It's at home, Ralph Wilson Stadium, Buffalo. I mean, the city of Buffalo might as well close down, right? Everyone's going to be breaking tables and drinking Labatt, which Tyler informed me is the official beer of Buffalonians.
Yeah,
Is that a word? I don't
Buffalonians.
know.
I don't know. I don't think
Yeah.
they call them that. They call them Lows, Buffaloes.
Lowe's? Okay.
Uh, no, I'm just messing. Uh, you're going with the Patriots though?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Um, I mean, obviously, Bills, Tre'Davious White out for the rest of the season on IR. John Feliciano on IR. A lot of injuries on both sides of the balls. Both sides of the ball, just like most teams in the NFL this season. It's in Buffalo though, Austin, and I think that's the biggest thing that's swaying me to go for the Bills in this game. Monday Night Football. All season, all that we've heard is the Bills should be, the best team in the AFC. Bills this, Bills that. Now all that we're hearing is New England Patriots. Patriots are the number or are better than the Bills or are leading in the AFC East. I think the Bills are sick and tired of hearing that. This is going to be a game that the Bills are going to go out. They're going to prove that they are the best team in the AFC and the best team in the AFC East, and they're going to go for that number one spot. I mean, this is do or die at this point because they're going to need this game more than ever. The Bills have to win this. This is a must-win game for them. They need to take that one extra step above the Patriots. And why not do it on Monday night in Buffalo against a rival in your home crowd? It's going to be crazy. How many tables are going to be broken? Infinite. I don't think there's a number that's going to be existed. How many Labats are going to be smashed? I mean, there's infinity.
Yeah.
It's going to be crazy. So many fights. I mean, shit. I would hate to have to be a police officer working that game, breaking up fights. I would hate to be a table. I would hate to be a Labatt Blue in Buffalo 12-6 on Monday night.
Beautiful.
Go Bills.
Bills Mafia. No, yeah, I mean, I'm just looking at it real quick, Bills, they got the Patriots, then they got the Bucks, they got the Panthers, and then they're back in New England against the Patriots, closing off the season, Falcons, Jets. So they definitely got to split with the Patriots, I feel like, if they want a chance to win that division. I think they'll be all right in the playoffs. Panthers, Falcons, Jets, those should be 3 easy wins. So it's like
I feel like it's
if they
easier
finish
to
the
beat the
season
Patriots at home.
10-7. You feel like it's easier to beat them at home?
Beat them at home rather than New England. Yeah, of course. I mean, if they have to face them again.
Yeah, okay, yep.
Yeah. I mean,
no, obviously, yeah.
Austin, are you ready for the no look parlay to cap it off?
Yes, let's hear it.
We got a no look parlay this week. Starting with the Bears spread, we have the Bears covering, the Colts spread, the Vikings spread, a lot of spreads. Eagles spread, Rams spread, Ravens money line, Niners money line, and Chiefs spread. That is a 2, 4, 6, 8, a 9-teamer. Obviously, I'm not going to do that all at once. Maybe I'll throw a couple bucks on it just to say I did.
A couple different variations of it.
I mean, that's a good one. I feel pretty good about it. I don't feel as confident as I have in weeks past, but hey, I haven't won one yet, that we've done. So let's see if it hits. I got a $10 free play.
Right. Well, you got to worry about tonight. I mean, I think you're still in good shape, right? Would you have the?
Right now, I'm technically in good shape.
Oh, because it's right at 6.
Yeah.
I don't know. Getting close there, honey.
I mean,
Saints
we
got
like
the ball
it.
right
We
now.
enjoy it.
Yeah. All right. That's another episode of the No Look Podcast. Maybe this will be the week that the No Look parlay will hit, Tyler. I'm right back with the Thirsty Thursday. Your boy Yo Soy. Until next week, Tyler. Adios. BRB.
Love you.